Howdy, y'all. How's it going? I didn't think this one through. I really just was like, you know what? I want to talk about this. And I hit record. So, if you're a woman or a girl and you had a best friend growing up, this is what I want to know. Was she toxic? Was she doing or saying shit behind your back? Was she doing or saying shit right in front of your face? If you were in a weird situation that could turn bad, would you trust her to do the right thing? Did you trust her to do the right thing? Did she not do right thing? And then your dumbass still trusted her. I'm just wondering. I've thought about it before, have not talked about this person. I don't know why, but I was just like, let me not do that. Maybe because I'd have to relive some of it. I don't know. But I had this best friend off and on from third grade until like I graduated high school. I don't know how many of the stories I want to get into because some of them would share some pretty personal shitty decisions that I've made. If people really seemed interested, I might would possibly get into some of those, air out a little bit of my dirty laundry because really, I mean, there's something that I know about myself and my granny hated it. When I went on a date as a young person, still living at home because I lived with my mom and my granny, and I would come back and I would tell my granny all the shit that I said to my date. She would be like, "You do not have to tell people your whole life story." And I'm like, I'm just the kind of person I would rather someone know what they're in for. And look, if it's the right person, then it's a good thing you did, in my opinion, because I asked my husband years after we got together, and I mean like probably 7 or 8 years we had been together at the time that I asked. And I was like, "What was it on our first date that made you kind of go, yeah, okay, I like her." Like, okay, there might be something here, you know? I would like to go on another date. And his response was when I told him I had IBS. Okay. And I do remember telling him that because you're sitting there on a first date eating with someone, eating, and you say, yeah, I got poo poo problems. Poo poo problems pain. Like, and you just hope that, look, the right person will not be disgusted with you. I can tell you that right now. The right person will find a green flag in that. Honestly, I think there's something like a lot of people judge you for being an open book. That you share too much too fast, blah blah blah. And then and he has even later, when I've been at workplaces, because now we're together. So he doesn't want me telling people stuff that he wouldn't tell them about him or our relationship or whatever. And like, look, that's fair. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's hard to turn it off. It really is. But in a general sense, people will judge you for that. But the right people will find it endearing because it means that you're not going to hide anything from them. There are people who have been surrounded by people who do nothing but bullshit them. So when they meet someone who is that open, I think it can be very attractive. If you're someone who shares too much, you will eventually share too much to the right person and they will be like, hell yeah, let me hop on board this train and ride it with you, sister. You know? But anyways, that's totally off topic. That's all to say that I can be an open book to a fault, but I'm not sure how much I want to share today. I met this girl in third grade after moving to a different school district in a different state even. So it was about an hour and a half away from where I had previously lived. We were the only two chonky kids in our grade. Don't know if that has anything to do with us becoming friends, but we did. I would say it went well in the 3rd grade. And in the 4th grade, I'd go over to her house and play Barbies. I will say, I think that one thing happened very early on, which was, it may have been more like 5th grade. We went fishing. Her family had a pretty good sized property, and she had a 3-wheeler that we had to like lift ourselves up off the ground with several times. Though they're fun, but especially if you're not on even ground, like it's like it was. Have you ever been down like a trail where like there's a ditch in the trail? Yeah, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you've seen one like that and been on a 3-wheeler, you probably completely understand what I'm saying. But we had went down one of those trails and went fishing, and we were just walking around down there, and out of nowhere, she backhands me like hard and for no reason whatsoever. She just hurt me for no reason, just flat out hit me. Really, to be honest with you, she was my only friend, for one, and for two, I just really didn't understand it. I mean, you could say, okay, well, why would you have anything to do with her after that? I just really didn't understand it. It's not like I had ever been in a situation like that where those situations that I've been in make me think it was okay. Nothing like that. I don't know. I was in like 5th grade or something, but I didn't, you know, I guess part of me thought that it was okay and didn't really think too much of it other than like tearing up because like it hurt. Like she was a strong girl, like it hurt big time. And then we got into like 6th grade and we were still pretty good friends. This new girl come to school. I made friends with her fairly quickly. And so then this friend, let's call the original friend Charlie. We'll call her Charlie. So then this new friend, Angelica, we'll call her Angelica, comes to school. And I become friends with Angelica. Well, my original friend, the one that hit me, that I've been friends with for years, after she sees I'm hanging out with Angelica, Charlie starts inviting Angelica over to hang out with her. And it probably was the first time Angelica went to Charlie's house. Angelica calls me from Charlie's house. I wasn't invited. It's probably important to say. It probably wouldn't have felt too important then. I did grow up as the only child, even though I'm technically not. So I probably did have some fear of missing out at this time. But this was about to make it a lot worse. Because Angelica called me from Charlie's house, proceeded to tell me that we couldn't be friends anymore. If anybody at all is watching this video because you felt like this video is for you, I guarantee you've experienced this. And I know I'm supposed to ask, has anyone else experienced this? But I just know it in my heart that there's too many of these girls out there who did shit like this to other girls. At the time, I didn't know any, and still I don't. I have talked to someone recently that also kinda had a somewhat iffy friend growing up. I don't know. I just have a feeling there was a lot of them that did this, and if you're one of the people who did this, you're terrible. You suck. You were never a good friend. You didn't deserve to have friends. I don't know if you do now. I hope you do, but you didn't deserve to have friends, okay? They deserved better than you. Eat shit, bitch. Sorry. 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 And that went, like, you could tell that Angelica, like, when I saw her later at school or whatever, which I got off the phone and cried, because of course I did. I had 2 friends, and now, even though Charlie didn't say we could, Charlie probably did hop on there and say we also couldn't be friends. They probably, like, made a pact not to be my friend, because you can't have more than one friend. there kind of were some signs later on that made me think, huh, has she kind of viewed me as more than a friend or not? And if so, that might explain some of it. Like, it's still really shitty for her to have treated me the way she did. Like, I'm not condoning what she did if she had feelings for me more than a friend, but like maybe because she definitely showed some more jealousy type seeming things as time went on. Really, I just felt like for a long time she was like sabotaging me because not only would she make things like this happen where I would make a friend and she would make them like not be my friend. And that happened with this same girl more than once. Like it was a continuous thing for a little while. Until said girl moved away, pretty much. And then actually Charlie also ended up moving away for a time, and I got to make a really good friend who I later on sadly pulled away from because I just had too much shit going on. And it got to the point where like I was afraid to see people because like my social anxiety, and I typically don't think of me having it until I was an adult, but I for sure did have it when I was a teenager there for a long time. Like I missed this friend's wedding. She got divorced. It wasn't, the matchup wasn't right, but still, I should have been at her wedding and I wasn't there. And I still kind of regret losing this friend to this day and messing up because she was such a genuine friend that had Charlie come back into the picture, which eventually Charlie did. Charlie moved back into my school district. If Charlie would have tried to keep this person from being my friend, this person would have caught it and been like, "No, you don't." Like she was genuinely a really cool person, and I regret that. But anyway, as was said, Charlie was gone for a while. Okay, so one thing, but around that time, I was hearing about her just doing a lot of talking bad about me behind my back, and I ended up getting a boyfriend. This one was like my high school sweetheart, like to the point it took me years to get over this guy afterwards. Years, probably like too long. You know what I mean? Like 7 years later, I was probably still like, I think that was the one. It was not the one, but I kind of thought it was. She hung out with him. She was hanging out with him at another girl's house for reasons I do not know to this day. Okay, so she hung out with him, this girl that none of us really knew. Like we knew of her. She like was an extension of other friends we knew her, I guess you could say. So anyways, the three of them are hanging out. And it's important to note that my friend Charlie and my high school sweetheart never hung out without me. They just didn't. It wasn't that they didn't like each other. It just wasn't something that happened. So we will never know why the three of them were hanging out together at this random girl's house. Now, I don't know if my friend pulled this girl aside and was like, "Hey, I want to try to hook you two up," or what. I don't know. But what I do know is that she told my boyfriend that I was cheating on him, which was a complete lie. She knew it was a complete lie. And for some reason, I guess because he was young and dumb, he believed her to the extent that he, at the very least, ended up holding hands with this other girl. Maybe even kissed her. I don't know. I wasn't there. This is all stuff that I heard about afterwards. And it's really weird. Now that I think about it, the guy that harmed me, I had dated previously, he tried to do that thing everybody knows about where he wanted as little people in my life that cared about me as possible. Where they try to push people out and get you alone, where it's just you and them. He did that, not with my family, but generally like with friends. Like he started doing that. closer to the end. And like now that I just literally put two and two together, that is what she was doing the like decades long friendship we had off and on was she was finding any way possible that if she saw I was getting close to someone or I had a relationship with someone, she would often try to push them out. And I literally just put that together that they were similar in that way. Do with that what you will. Yeah, anyway, just weird behavior. I'm probably gonna put like a part 1 question mark in this because I have stories that are like a lot worse. I'm not even sure how I could talk about them on here with the algorithm without getting my video taken down, to be quite honest. If I was to talk about them, I would have to be very tactical on how I did that, and it would be kind of embarrassing for me to talk about some of these things, because I'm gonna be honest with you, as a teenager, I made some extremely dumb decisions, but sitting here today, I can also tell you that you can come back from those. I'll put it to you this way. I've spent a lot of time not thinking about my past because it is such parts of it are such a dark and scary place that I mentally could not go to them for years. Like it was anyways. And pretty much all of those dark and scary places involve her. Fun fact, she was there. So I don't know if anybody's going to watch this, but if they do, I am considering maybe delving into some of the worst stories because these are the cutesy stories. As we got older, they obviously got worse. But if you watched, and if you've experienced anything like this, please leave a comment because I know I'm not alone, and I'm so sorry that you got a sorry ass friend out of whatever deal. I'm genuinely, people don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. That friend was terrible. You're right. You know it. Feel free to share some of your stories in the comments if you want. If you'd like this video, that'd be cool. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be cool too. If you don't want to, that's fine. I will try again next time. Bye.